Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today I've been guided to kind of give you a recap about what happened last evening on our Patreon only live event, which we host on the 7th and 21st of every month. And it was a communication about what are some of the not so subtle ways that lower vibrational entities can influence you. There were some really obvious ones like alcohol, drugs, anger, certain emotional states that you can go into that will draw in these lower vibrational energies that actually feed off the emotional emanations from your consciousness. And so they will find ways to get you to lower your vibration, which is what drinking does. What really struck me as odd is that because when I'm channeling, I've got lots of information coming to me from different beings that doesn't get articulated and doesn't get expressed. And one of those things last night was I was told that even though these lower vibrational entities, what some people call demons or the devil or evil, are all part of God's creation, and that God takes care of, loves, and adores his creation. So he takes care of everything. So he makes certain that even the lower vibrational beings are going to be nurtured and fed in the best possible way that they can. Which really surprised me, that that God takes care of all of his creation. He doesn't say any of it is bad. He takes care of each one according to its own. That the human beings that choose to indulge in things that are detrimental to their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health are doing so consciously or unconsciously because they're going to nurture these lower vibrational things. And what was really funny is I came across a video this morning about this type of fungus. I don't remember the exact name of the fungus, but this fungus lives 5 feet underground. And the fungus emits a chemical that influences ants to go out, particularly leafcutter ants, and it directs these ants to go out and find the leaves off certain trees and bring it back to the fungus, which lives in the leafcutter ants' nests. And so the leafcutters go out and they get this fungus and they chop it up fine, and the fungus lives off the leaves that these ants bring. Here it is, a fungus influencing ants to go out sometimes hundreds of meters away to get these leaves off a particular tree for the fungus to eat. And if the tree starts to get too damaged by the ants, the tree begins to emit and introduce a chemical into its leaves that makes the leaves toxic or poison for the fungus. And then the fungus alters and changes the chemical signal it gives to the ants and gets the ants to go out and get leaves from a different tree that don't have those toxins in it. And it really is reminiscent that these lower vibrational entities, and they said lower vibrational entities does not mean that a person has to be in a lower socioeconomic bracket. They said very clearly that anybody that's in a lower vibrational state, things like greed, lust, sexual objectification, drugs, alcohol, anything of a lower energetic spectrum, anybody can indulge in. It doesn't matter how much money or power you have. If you indulge in a lower energetic spectrum, one of the things that can happen is you can have these lower vibrations come and feed off the emotional emanations of that state. So if you're angry, you actually distribute through your body, because remember, you distribute through your body, you transmit into this world through your body. If you bring an emotional energy into this dimension that's low vibration, like anger, fear, guilt, shame, greed, lust, all these energies, you transmit that, and these lower vibrational entities, both physical and non-physical, because some of them are inhabiting human beings as demonic forces, you feed them. You transmit these lower vibrational emotions, and you can feed these lower vibrational entities. And it's all part of the divine creation. They also said that at any time where you begin to realize that there's certain things you're thinking, saying, or doing that lowers your vibration, and you're fed up with being unhappy and miserable, that you make a decision to start to raise your energy up. You might start to realize that drugs are bad for you, alcohol is bad for you, sexual objectification is an energy that's not good for you. and you make a conscious choice to raise your energy up towards the spectrum of compassion, respect, kindness, patience, perseverance, purposeful living. Laziness was also another thing that these lower vibrational entities, they live off the energy of the lazy too. But at any time you become fed up with being angry or frustrated or sad, you can begin to use your free will to shift your energy from a low vibrational state to a higher vibrational state. You can refuse to indulge in anger. You can refuse to indulge in drugs. You can refuse to indulge in sexual impropriety. There's certain things that you can use your will to shift away from lower vibrational influences back towards higher vibrational influences. So this spectrum of good and evil is a vibrational spectrum that every single one of us lives somewhere on that spectrum. Jesus, for example, lives very high on that spectrum in a state that people refer to as one with God, believing and understanding that Jesus ascended to the state of godness. And then there's the lower end of the spectrum, or what some schools would call evil or the devil. And these lower vibrational beings align to that. But everyone falls on that spectrum. You, me, every single living sentient organism in all of creation. Everything in creation exists somewhere on that spectrum of good and evil, or low vibration and high vibration. The gift of free will allows you to shift your energy from a low vibrational state to a high vibrational state, or you can go from a high vibrational state to a low vibrational state, which we've seen happen. I'm sure you've read stories and observed things where people are doing really amazing things in life, and suddenly you hear what was that? Corey Monteith was one of the actors on a show called Glee. Beautiful soul, incredible actor, seemed to have really high, vibrant energy, and he overdosed on drugs. He got caught in a lower vibrational spectrum of energy. So even people in positions of wealth and power can reach a state of very low vibrational function, just as people in any socioeconomic spectrum can get into a lower vibrational state. But the same is true for a high vibrational state of being. You can elevate your energy up to a higher state. Now, I apologize if the signal is a bit unstable because I'm tethered to another device. I'm streaming over several different platforms right now. So please bear with me. And if that's the case, I hope the recording should be for review later on my YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok or Facebook, you can watch the replay on my YouTube channel, or wait for shorts to be posted across platforms as well. But this was really a revelation for me in a sense that each and every one of us has the same opportunity to achieve the status of one with God or the status of one with the devil. Most people, they say, are somewhere in between. And of those people that are somewhere in between, a smaller percentage of them actually know they can use their free will to ascend their energy closer to God. But the vast majority, say, don't know. They're just waiting for something to happen around them to influence them into a different state of being. But I really wanted to share that with you, that there are some fundamental things that are widely accepted in society that are considered normal, but which actually lowers your vibration, lowers your energy, and from that lower vibrational energy state, you distribute frequencies of energy that feed parasitic entities. And these doesn't mean that, remember, if you understand that the divine God is all loving, all powerful, and everywhere present, then you can understand that he would find a way to ensure that all of his creations are taken care of. He wouldn't say, oh, I'll take care of these ones and not these ones. No. The divine created everything in its image and likeness. And therefore, he's going to treat everything to the best of his ability to give every part of itself a chance to come back to the divine. And realizing those things like sexual objectification, alcohol, drugs, laziness, certain foods you can eat, certain things you can drink, ways you can think, or actions of speech and physical actions in reality can cause your vibration to go up or down. In fact, even in this moment, whatever you're thinking, feeling, and believing about what you're hearing right now is either going to raise your vibration up or it's going to lower it down. And in every single moment of your existence, you have this opportunity to either raise your vibration up through the use of your free will. You must choose to exercise your free will, one way or another, to either go up the spectrum of consciousness or lower in frequency to the lower frequencies of consciousness. But to say one is good or evil is only a matter of experience. Someone in a high vibrational state who sees somebody doing something evil could say that person is bad and wrong, but that person who's doing the evil thing may not know from their perspective that what they're doing is wrong or evil until they have an experience that forces them to review. And so watching how this all unfolded last night, and then in every single moment of your life, not tomorrow, not later, every moment, right now, you have a choice to raise your energy up or lower your energy down, to bring yourself closer to the divine or further from the divine. The truth is you can never get separated from the divine. You can just become less aware of its presence, which is a function of love. And I thought it was really important to share a synopsis of our Patreon event last night, that you understand that there's not one moment in your life or other lifetimes or lifetimes that are yet to come where you will not have the opportunity to shift your energy away from lower vibrational expressions to higher vibrational expressions. And remember, these energetic states of being, whether you're being good or evil, has no bearing on social economic status, as there are people, they tell me, that are in high positions of authority and power over the world, but are influenced greatly by lower demonic or lower vibrational forces. Again, anger, fear, guilt, shame, greed, lust. These are energetic states of being that induce functions of behavior through your body. And if you're being influenced by a lower vibrational energy, then chances are your function of behavior will become a function of that lower vibrational energy, unless your will is free enough to go, wait a minute, why am I thinking I don't like that person? Because if you start thinking, I don't like them, you start to move yourself into a lower vibrational spectrum. To say you don't agree with them is something very different. But to pronounce a judgment upon another, the nature and quality of your judgment or assessment or evaluation, because they said judgment was another way in which people can raise or lower their vibration. And I think it was Master Jesus who had said to me during that time that you want to get connected to righteous judgment, where your judgment is not something to deprecate or lower the value and meaning of another person, simply to recognize and understand their fundamental flaws in reason and logic, but not to lower your vibration or theirs by your judgment. So be very careful about what you discern about other people, because you're going to use your will at any time to either raise your vibration up or bring your vibration lower down. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think about this idea that you have a free will through which you can bring yourself close to God or further from God, in the sense that you're not as aware of his innate and benign and infinite goodness? You're less aware of it in the lower vibrational spectrum, because then you're into the realms of pain and suffering, which makes it very hard to believe that life is good. If you're in pain and suffering, it can be very hard to believe that life is good, because you're suffering. But at any time, they said, even when you're suffering, you can begin to elevate your energy up. And we've seen that happen, on some of the live shows where we've had people come on who are in pain or anger or frustrated or wanting healing. And they're guided to interact with the energy of their suffering in a different way. And the minute they do that, and some of you have been present to see that, where suddenly the person is now feeling better, or the pain in their body goes away. You have to understand how phenomenal and incredible the power of your free will is. Your free will, not your will subjugated to somebody else, but your free will has the potential in any moment that you can bring yourself closer to love or further from it, that you have the freedom to do that. Imagine that you've been created to have the freedom to experience, by the use of your will, whatever you want to, good or not so good. Just imagine that. And that in any moment, You're always doing that. You can't escape this reality that in any moment you're using your will to raise yourself up or to lower yourself down. What you think, feel, and believe is doing that all the time, whether you're conscious of it or not. But the existing, yes, so they're saying also that the existing emotional energy that you find yourself residing in, if you are living in fear or anger or guilt or shame, then you are in a lower vibrational spectrum and you've been using your will to keep yourself or bring yourself there. And at any moment, you can begin to use your will to elevate yourself out of those lower vibrational energies, which feed these lower vibrational entities. You got to think about it, how amazing it is. You look at the wildebeests of Africa and how the lions and other predatory animals will hunt them. And you might see a wildebeest or a baby wildebeest get caught by a lion, and you're feeling sorry for the wildebeest, but the divine made certain that the lion would be provided for, the predator would be provided for as equally as the prey. The prey gets the grasses and what it needs. So remember that when you go throughout your day, that any time, in any moment, you have the ability and the innate God-given freedom to use your will for good or evil, to raise yourself up or lower yourself down. And I personally felt it was very, very important to remind you that you have that freedom no matter what your life situation or circumstance, no matter how rich or poor you are, that you can recognize lower vibrational influences and cast them off. Because believe me, there'll be lots of people, if you choose to give up your suffering, if you choose to move closer to love, you're not denying these lower vibrational entities anything, because there's lots of people that will be in lower vibrational states, but you get to bring yourself closer to the divine. Is that not something you'd want to do? To use your will to bring yourself back to God consciously, to become one with the divine within yourself, as Jesus did, or as Buddha did, or as many other ascended masters have done over many civilizations. And I just felt it was really important to articulate, some of the things that were articulated. The judgment, that really blew my mind. That judgment, if you're going to have any judgment, it must be executed in a way that doesn't bring your energy down or bring the energy of others down. And they called that righteous judgment. So you can evaluate what that person is doing, screaming and yelling, is not a really good thing for them. Then you're not judging them, they're bad, they're wrong. Because the minute you pronounce them as bad or wrong, that will be measured back onto you. So when you say they're bad, the very nature of making that judgment about another person, you bring yourself into the energy of that frequency. So righteous judgment is something you want to begin to evaluate and consider what that really is. And the only way you can do that is if you recognize that you have a free will. Then you can evaluate your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, and your expectations, and measure them as to whether or not these thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions are going to raise you closer to love or bring you further into the negative, the destructive, the harmful. And there'll be no judgment levied upon you, because the use of your will be the judgment of itself. In other words, the way in which you choose to use your will be the judgment pronounced upon you, not by God or the devil, but by the use of your own free will, which can be used to elevate yourself closer to the divine or pull yourself further away from it. But you can never separate from it. That's something they want me right now to let you know. You can never, ever, ever separate yourself from God. Ever. You can never completely separate yourself from God. Even these lower vibrational energies have a connection to the divine, because the divine created all things. And so that divinity exists in all things. And I hope this message finds a place in your heart, that you begin to consider throughout the day what you think, what you say, what you do, from the perspective that everything you think, say, or do is either going to raise your vibration up or lower your vibration down. Everything. Every act you perform. Everything and anything that you, as a sentient being in that physical form that's hearing these words, can is loaning itself to either bring yourself home to Christ or into the arms of suffering, right? Again, you can substitute the word Christ for the word love. You can substitute the devil with the word evil, love and fear, right? Good and evil. And I hope you really weigh that carefully. So I wanted to share that with you. And I want to say to my patrons that were with us last night, thank you so much. Some of you contributed so much to that, and I was delighted and honored. And again, thank you so much for supporting this work. It's really wonderful. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for coming out today. Glad to have you here. Hi, Maury. Danielle is asking, the last few nights before sleeping, I've been seeing through my closed eyes crystal clear, equally seeing the desk and objects, seeing codes being sent to me. Is the veil being dissolved? Your question is more of a statement, Daniela. Yes, you are using your will to see without eyes and hear without ears. And that's a wonderful thing, because Jesus taught that. He spoke of that many times. Like, you have to learn to see without these eyes. You learn to see with your spiritual eye, which is of love. And you need to hear with your spiritual. So congratulations. You're dissolving the attachment to the physical sight as being the only way to see. You're now opening up your clairvoyance, which means clear seeing. Congratulations, Danielle. It's wonderful. Yes. You have parted the veil. I hope you continue to practice that, because you can, in that place where you're able to see without your physical eyes, you can call in and see Master Jesus before you, or you can see Yogananda before you, or you can see Buddha, or you can call on Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael and see them, the spirit of them before your eye, your spiritual eye. Most people, you can't see these beings mostly with your physical eye, although I've seen that happen, where a person can actually see Master Jesus right in front of them with their physical eyes, because they have the faith to see that. Right? This is another wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Danielle. Really appreciate that. Hi, guys. If you're on TikTok, remember to tap screen. I don't know how the sound quality is on. I don't know how the sound quality is on TikTok, because I'm not using my regular microphone, which is packed away in a box for transportation. So I can't put on my normal mic for this, but I'll see if I can dig it out in the next day or so that we can get better quality. Is the sauerkraut I made been helping my body in my quest to be healthy? Yes, it is. Absolutely, Star Bernice. Another thing I'm being told to tell you to do before you eat your food, give love to your food. Give love and gratitude to your food, because you as a physical body, you're able to transmit functions of emotion into time and space. It's what makes us behave certain ways. So before you eat your sauerkraut, take it in your hands and say, thank you. Thank you for all that you do for my beautiful body. I'm so grateful. So transmit that energy into anything you put into your body. And I would say that to all of us. Before you put something in your body, bless it. Be grateful for it, because you're transmitting a vibration into the structure, the atomic structure of the food. And that vibration that you transmit into the structure of your food will then go into the body as the changed molecules of the food is affected by the emotional energy. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Oh, you're very welcome, Lisa. Hi. Yeah, jealousy was another of the way these lower vibrational entities influence. Lack is another one. I'm just seeing how I missed any. Why does Catherine C. not like me? I've tried to be very nice to her. Because it's time for you to find other people in your life, to bring new people into your life. Do not use your energy to try to force someone to like you. Rather be that one individual that offers your love and grace to them without the expectation of being rewarded for your goodness. The very nature of being good and just and right is a reward unto itself for you, to be love, to be grace, to be kindness, to be compassion, to be patient, to be persistent. You reward yourself with the energy of those functions. Do not expect the reward to come from them. Let the use of your will be the function of your own reward. So if you're in a state of love and grace towards anybody, then you will benefit from the energy of love and grace. You will grow from it. So yeah, don't be attached to her. Don't be attached to her having to care about you. Hi. Yeah, I'm sorry that my live is buffering. I unfortunately I'm tethered because I'm in a very small town in Quebec. That makes it, they don't have the same camera technology here, so I'm doing the best that I can. So the recording of this should be intact and available for review on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/William Michael Forbes. If you want to know more about what we do in the courses and master classes that we teach with the Ascended Masters, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and you can check out our master classes and sign up for Masterclass 102, which is coming up in about another 3 weeks. Masterclass 102 will teach you how to let go of old, dense emotions that you've got stored in your body or that you've carried over from other lifetimes. Most people don't realize they hold on to emotions that can be good or not so good. And the not so good emotions trap you into lower vibrational spectrum of consciousness. And you can learn to release those old emotions from your body and how to connect to your guides and your angels and get more guidance for yourself in the process. I'm sorry about the buffering. I can't make it go any faster unless I go on a different network. Yeah, there are limits out here. That's correct. Very good. McKay is saying you can feel the energy of someone alike and made alike in the image. Absolutely. In Sanskrit, I've made helping my body is the sound. Oh yeah, we already got to that. For some reason I heard Sanskrit. Thank you so much. I'm glad the sound is good. Thank you so much. My Lord is light, my command is peace. That's beautiful. And that's what you're defining is the vibrational functions of because love and light are very synonymous. There's only two uses of your will: that use that elevates your energy towards the divine, or the use of your will that lowers your energy to the lower vibrational frequencies, or what people call evil or darkness or lower vibrational states. Someone's saying here, I loved the 102 class. Quality is better here on YouTube. So for those of you that want to see a better quality, you can go to my YouTube channel and we're streaming live there. You might be on Facebook. Again, we're not in the most technologically ideal location for transmission. But hey, you do what you can do. That's the way life works. You do the best you can do. Yeah, do that to your water. Do that with your food. Glory to the Most High. That's right. And it's interesting to use that term, glory to the Most High. Would not then your function of love, compassion, kindness, playfulness, curiosity, innovation, creation be that which leads you to the Most High? So the glory is to your willingness to use your will correctly to elevate yourself to the glory of the divine. Right? But remember, if the divine created all things, then they are all good in their own right. They all have a function and purpose. Even these lower vibrational entities that might try to seduce you with anger or sensuality or different foods that are bad for you, they are serving a purpose. And that purpose may be simply to put you in a position where you use your will differently than you currently are. Now, they tell me a lot of people that are dealing with drug addiction and alcoholism, a lot of these people are in that process of trying to figure out how to exercise their will independent of the influences of the lower vibrational substance. Alcohol, they said, alcohol and drugs, they said, were the biggest ones, particularly alcohol. It electrically disconnects you from your body and leaves your body open to lower vibrational influences. I'll leave that consideration for you to evaluate. Alcohol literally electrically separates you from the connection you have to your body, which is why you see a lot of people that get drunk. They're staggering around because the soul can't control the body because there's no electrical connection anymore, right? So keep that in mind, that alcohol electrically separates you from being able to use your body properly. Hi. Yeah, Quebec is pretty cool. Maureen Singh saying, I loved 102 class as well. Does Spirit have any guidance for me on the journey of fixing my marriage? I've really been working on myself, but my marriage is in desperate need of help. Begin the process of blessing your marriage. Begin the process of blessing your marriage. Even if your spouse cannot, you may use your will and exercise it rightly. So bless your marriage. Be grateful. Be grateful for this wondrous and beautiful marriage. You must pronounce the marriage as good, as a gift from the divine. Stay centered and focused in the function of gratitude with regard to the marriage. Do not get caught up in how terrible or desperate your marriage is. Get into, this marriage was a blessing from the divine. I accept this blessing from the divine. I open myself to the blessings of this marriage. I open myself to allowing the blessings to thrive and grow in myself and my spouse. Because if your spouse is angry or frustrated or in habits that are destructive or not beneficent, begin the process of bringing or introducing the energy of blessing and gratitude into the relationship, because they might not be able to do it. You might have a partner that's trapped in their fear or their anger. And so on their behalf, bring the blessing of love and grace into the marriage. And really go deeply in that. Anytime you think about them, think lovingly. They're awakening. God's grace lives and moves for them. Love is in their heart. It's awakening in them now. And I am grateful for this, right? And it shall be done. It will. It will be done. Hi. May I ask if there's a message for me? Thank you. Hi, Tally. I'm being told to tell you to give up. Okay, they're telling me to tell you this in this way. Despair not, but seek the counsel of love. Despair not, seek the counsel of love. Can you be more specific about what that means, is what they can do? Gratitude is the key that opens the door to love. Gratitude is the key that opens the door to love. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. You can bless your, somebody's saying here, Ariane, you can bless your clothes for protection. It's interesting. Yes, you can bless your clothes, but don't bless them for protection. Bless them for how they serve you. If you are blessing something to protect you, the fact that you have to issue the concept of protection invites the potential for an attack. Keep that in mind. Be grateful for your clothes, how they protect and comfort your body. Be of that spirit that you are protected and comforted. But if you can avoid the concept of protection, you won't invite an attack. Just be grateful. I'm grateful for how these clothes keep my body warm and comfortable, and they feel so good on my body. They take care of it. They honor it. They cherish it. Vertical wants me to see their question. I'll see if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Question. I have a friend who has all the positive attributes you described, but they don't recognize the divine, let alone their own divinity. Must she herself free her from ignorance? If she's living in all of these good qualities, she's embodying the divine. Celebrate her or him. Celebrate them, that they live the truth. One does not need to have a belief in God to live a godly life. One does not have to say, I am of faith, I believe in God, in order to live a godly life. And if they are living a life that is good and righteous and just and kind and compassionate, then they are living as the divine. And I hope that you recognize that and then cherish them and say, I don't need them to believe in God because they're already living as God. Is that not wonderful that you can do that? That you can do that. You can do that for them. Thank you. In this time frame, all we can do is to honor the Lord high, is embody what is right and do what is right. Absolutely. Absolutely. My cat is leaving us due to being our burden. Would you agree to stay? Would he agree to stay if I tell him he is not? Again, gratitude always is a pleasant thing. Be grateful for the presence rather than the demand of its presence. Let that being know that you appreciate and love their presence in your life. That doesn't mean they're going to stay, but let your gratitude be that which you work with in regards to them. For what you are grateful, you shall never be denied. For what you are grateful, you shall never be denied. Hi, Iris. I see you're on Facebook and on TikTok. That's wonderful. Hi. Remember to where's the, oh, there, we're up to 9,000 likes on TikTok. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Loves the way I release every emotion associated with the police assaulting me this week for a lawyer. Well, again, I'm glad you're doing that. I'm really, really glad you're doing that. Release it. Don't hold on to it. How much is the class? The master class for 3 weeks. It's a 3-week course. Starts November the 8th. Masterclass 102, Liberation, because you literally liberate yourself from old emotions. We're talking intense emotions like depression, anxiety, fear. And all you got to do is follow a very simple set of protocol to shift it. The cost for the full 3 weeks is $350 US, $99 if you're repeat students. And again, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com. And again, this is our most favored course and the one that people get the most freedom out of. It's where a lot of people's spiritual journeys begin in the 102. I look forward to seeing you in it. It will completely revolutionize and change not only your life, but the lives of those closest to you. And they don't have to know what you're doing. Because once you start to become a deliberate and conscious manifestation of love's grace, that is, you start to operate with love and compassion, kindness, goodness, righteousness, you start to influence other people with that energy, even if you don't speak to them. And I cannot tell you the hundreds of stories I've had of people coming back to a class after an exercise was given to them by the Ascended Masters, coming back and saying, I did what Master Jesus said, and my family started being really nice to me, or my neighbors changed. That happens all the time because your emotions are organizing all of your experiences, and you must learn to use your free will to align to emotions in the higher spectrum, not the lower spectrum. You must learn to do that. Oh, you don't have to. I mean, lots of people don't learn to use their will and they suffer, or they benefit accordingly. Like that person who's not accepting of the idea of a God, but they live a godly life. They live in goodness and kindness and respect. You don't need to believe in God to be God-like. Hi. Oh, here we go. Oh, you're very, very welcome. You're very welcome. Again, if you will wish suffering upon anybody, you will levy that suffering upon yourself. Judge not that ye be not judged. Literally, for how you will judge another, it will be, and the operant word there is how you will judge them. If you judge them maliciously, with anger, with resentment, with bitterness, that will come back onto you. If you judge them from the perspective of understanding and compassion, realizing they're either ignorant or do not understand what they're doing, forgive them for they know not what they do, then that's a very different thing. You can there is a thing called righteous judgment, and there's a thing that's called malicious judgment. And most people use the latter rather than the former. You want to learn to use righteous judgment and surrender malicious judgment. You want to do that sooner rather than later. Thank you, Arlene. I appreciate that. As soon as I find and start my next job, I'll be in the classes. Make the decision that the job has just found you. I'm being told to tell you this right now. Make the decision, my job has found me. Make that statement in your mind right now. My job has found me. Thank you. Make that statement in your consciousness right now. My job has found me. Thank you. I'm very excited to see how that unfolds for you too. Yes, thank you so much, Tanya. I really appreciate it. Can I get a word from Archangel Michael? I've been asking him for assistance, especially in my home. I'm still having issues hearing, listening to spirits. Sometimes you might be, yeah. So there's four different senses that we all have where we can learn to connect to the spirit world. We have 5 physical senses that let us connect to the physical world: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Let you comprehend and apprehend the physical dimension. But you also have 4 spiritual senses that allow you to comprehend the invisible world, the non-physical world. And those are clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, which means clear seeing, clear hearing, clear knowing, and clear feeling. And what you're using, Tanya, is you're trying to use clairaudience. Try and use clairsentience. Feel their presence rather than trying to hear their words. Try to feel their energy as opposed to hearing the words that they would speak. Your dominant clair may not be clairaudience. It may be clairsentience. It may be claircognizance. It may be, but it's not likely at this time. It doesn't sound like you've developed clairaudience very effectively. And that's not that it can't be. It's just work with the sense that is developed. But try clairsentience. Feel. He's telling me to tell you, feel my presence behind you to the left. Feel my presence behind you to the left. So feel. Don't try to hear. Feel. Because sometimes you have to leverage the skill you already have developed, and that will help the others develop. Like a little baby learning to roll over. It doesn't know how to roll over, but it can move its head. And when its head moves, the shoulders move. And when it keeps doing that more and more, eventually it rolls over. So lean on what you can do, not what you can't do. If you're not hearing their voices, then feel their presence, right? And then you'll develop another different sense. Hi, Sharon. Sharon, dear, she wants you to know that you will always be very dear to her. In the belief of my absence, I'm most present with you. So when you're feeling that sense that, oh, I miss her so much, that's when she's most present with you. And I would encourage you, the next time you feel yourself missing someone who's left the physical dimension, it's in that moment where their energy is actually intersecting with your energy. So the next time you're suddenly thinking of your mother, that's actually when her energy is present with you. Sit with it. Drop the idea from your mind that she's missing. She's not in the physical dimension, but feel the presence of her energy. You wouldn't be thinking about your mother if the presence of her energy wasn't there. That's why sometimes you're thinking about her and sometimes you're not. Because sometimes her energy intersects with yours, other times it's not. This is the way the spirit world works in that regard. When someone leaves the physical dimension, they do not have a physical body to interact with you. They don't. But they have an energy body that you can interact with. And you need to learn to do that. In Masterclass 102, you'll learn how to do that. How to sense the presence of their energy. Right? Hi. Mm-hmm. When you have completely given up your anger, and although I'm responding to love is the way, this is for everybody. When you realize that unjust or inappropriate anger has no place in your consciousness, you'll begin to get free of it. You recognize that what they've done is wrong, but understand that their wrong action, while it may affect you, does not reflect upon you unless you chose to believe that you've done something wrong. Forgive them, for they do not know what they do. And a lot of people are in that position right now, doing, thinking, and saying things without even realizing that they're doing it, right? Or the effect of it. Hi. There we go. I think we've come to the end of today. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out today. And I guess when we get back on the road in the next day or two, we'll be getting access to different signal strengths, so there won't be that lagging that's happening on occasion. But I'm honored and I'm privileged to be able to be a vehicle for this information for you. It is time that humanity understands, at least those of you that are in the spectrum of awakening, because there's a massive awakening going on right now, to realize that you have the free will, and everybody does, not everybody exercise, but that you have the free will to raise your energy up to the spectrum of love, or to lower your energy to the spectrum of suffering, and that you have the freedom to choose that. That's the one thing that the divine ensured. We all have free will, and it's one of the reasons why in the U.S. Constitution the right to speak, to use your will, is God-given. It really is. It truly, truly is. I want to wish you all much love. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel. If you want to book a reading, sign up for a course, go to williammichaelforbes.com and check it out. You'll get a full spectrum outline of each of the courses and what you'll learn and experience in the class. To the students that are in our one-on-one course, I look forward to seeing you at 4 p.m. today. It's going to be very, very exciting. Have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day, and I will see all of you on the Friday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. Thank you so much. And I'm honored to have you working with me and enjoying humanity in this process of awakening all of us. Much love.